Hey, hello, welcome to the Right Room podcast. Today I'm in conversation with star of Bombay comedy, Bhavish Ailani, who just put out a video how many weeks ago?
A week ago, I think almost 10 days at this point.
10 days ago. How's the response been?
It's not bad. 210,000. That's not a number of people that I would ever imagine watching me do stand-up.
Yeah, imagine so many people parking
Exactly.
to watch you.
This is the thought experiment that I do. Imagine so many people in a room. You wouldn't be able to fit them. Although we tend to trivialize these numbers because because
less than a
everyone,
million.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've all been doing stand-up since, like a lot of us have been doing stand-up since people I started with over 5 years. That almost everybody's done that number, but it's actually not trivial. It means a lot. If you look at them as one individual person into 200,000 as opposed to just a statistic, you know.
That's a lot of people, right?
Yeah, it is.
Wait, did you know that you're going to put this up? Like, did you have this in mind? Like, I'm going to put out this bit, or did you just tape the entire show and whatever worked?
No, I didn't know this show was recording actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you just went and did a spot.
Yeah. Basically, this was preparing to record. Like this bit. Yeah. I was shooting this bit and I was like, okay, maybe I'll shoot it after a month when I get to shoot it properly.
You didn't know there was a camera that was on?
No. It just went well, and I asked them later how it whether you guys have started recording open mics at Cuckoo. They're like, yeah, we have. I said, okay then.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's quite a compliment to your performance. That means you're like naturally that tight. You're not like tight for the video.
No, it's not so always. It's just that this material has been going on for so long that it had to be this way before being shot.
Right, but you don't seem loose on stage. You're not like you do not know what's coming.
Yeah, 100 people. I don't get to perform for those many people a lot. So then
100 people.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. Was that an open mic?
Yeah, it was.
There were 100 people at an open mic. What are you saying?
It was hosted by Tanmay Bhatt, so there was a lot of people there.
And this was like how long ago?
It was in June.
It was in June. Okay.
Yeah, I kept trying to convince people to let me like shoot, but people were busy or abroad or doing shows elsewhere, you know. So and then you shoot. So I said, you know what? I just want to get rid of the material at this point because it was you get only 8 to 10 minutes at a time, most spots. So it was just eating into my time. I was not writing new stuff. So I said I'll let it go to motivate myself to write new stuff. I didn't think that people would look at it and still like it because it's shot only from one angle. Another thing we overthink.
Yeah. So you just had one camera.
Yeah.
One camera, and you took the output from the console.
Yeah.
Wow, that's very interesting to know, because like, you know, when you wanted to record, did you have to go behind like people who already have a crowd and be like, hey, can I open for you?
Yeah, I had to do that a lot. And a lot of people were out. Oh, I'm abroad, I'm touring, I'm busy. So a lot of that stuff.
Great, dude. You started stand-up 5 years ago?
Almost 7 years ago actually. Jan 2012 I started.
Jan 2012. So this was in Mumbai when Comedy Store was around, before Canvas.
Yes, that's.
So how many comics were there when you started?
I think it was around 20, I guess.
Around that would have been a very little number. And how many spots did you
20. Actually, there was way more people doing open mics. You could say 30, 35 actually.
That's still a small number.
Yeah, it is.
Right now, I think like every WhatsApp group in Bombay has how many people?
Over 100. Yeah. Like, and then there's groups for purposes that you wouldn't imagine. Like +1 group number 2 and +1 gossip but no whatever, like here is where you talk stuff unrelated to comedy.
There's a group for +1s.
Yeah.
Wait, how does that work?
Because some people have more friends and some people don't have so many friends.
I understand. So wait, so the whole criteria is for an open mic, you had to have a +1 for you to perform, correct?
Correct.
So now there's a group where you can just find people.
Correct.
So if I have 4 friends, I can lend you 3.
Yes, exactly. That's what it is.
That is so cool.
Yeah, how many people do you have coming with you? And then they're like 4. They're like, okay, then can I borrow 1? That's what it is.
That whole group is basically borrow a friend.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Lucky I haven't had to do a lot of +1 shows because I started doing open spots before, because it's a huge hassle. I don't have so many friends.
Getting friends to a show.
Yeah. I don't have so many friends.
And also weirdly, and not just the fact that you don't have friends. I think weirdly, right, in the beginning of your stand-up career, and this is with every comic, okay, there are some rooms you don't want to be seen.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, there are places you don't want your friends to come in the interest of the greater good of humanity that you wish that. You're right. Yeah, because they should comedy should never have happened there to begin with. But since it's happening there, you have to be there, right? Because if you don't have a show on that day, you should do a show.
Correct.
So you should do whatever you get. But that doesn't mean your friends should also be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
And you
about
kind of want, like, even the few friends you have, you kind of want them to see, like, hey, the bigger shit that's yet to come in life.
that. Yeah,
At
that's
the
also
back of
true.
your head.
That is also true.
Be like, let them come and straight away see me do an auditorium.
Yeah. I'll tell you a mistake a few people have been making recently. A completely new comics who bring 4 to 5 friends to their first open mic.
Correct.
I'm like, you have 4 to 5 friends. You should spread them out across 5 shows. What are you doing? They're like, no, I have more. I was like, okay, your life is good. I don't know why you're a comic at all.
I've rarely met, like, I can easily count the number of people who are comics and who have a great banging social life.
Yeah.
It's
That's rare.
very few. Yeah, I think I know Satish. Satish has a lot of friends. I remember Satish once did a show where he was taping and he got about 30 of his friends, dude.
Jesus, that's crazy.
I think 30 or more. I think it was 40. But I think the rest of us are just losers who have, like, very few friends, right?
Yeah, your schedule gets reversed eventually, right? So you lose touch with the people you were friends with before. Our
You
schedule is
can't-
exactly the opposite of normal
People
people's
who
schedule.
have regular lives.
Yeah,
We
so
work
if-
in the night, on weekends.
Yeah. So you eventually have to say no to things. If the little things that you're invited to, you say no to them, and then people stop asking you.
Yeah.
Then you end up becoming friends with a few comics.
Yeah.
That's as many comics as you can be friends with is few.
So most of the people you hang out with are comics or, like, regular people?
It has become that.
It has become comics.
Yeah, it has become because I'm 29, so a lot of my friends have made decisions that 29-year-olds do, that they get married and they have families, so that makes it harder because I don't fit into the group where there are children, you know,
Right. Oh, yeah.
and they are busier. I understand that. That
Right.
makes sense.
So how did you start doing comedy?
I used to used to work in a bank when I was 21. After
What are you saying? Are
yeah,
you serious?
Yeah, for a year.
This is straight out of college?
Yeah.
Or this is during college?
No, right out after college.
What bank was this? Was this like a...
RBS, Royal Bank of Scotland.
Okay.
So I was there for a year, and in the evening at like 5:30 when it used to get boring because the work hours were according to London, so it was 12 to 9. So in the evening,
12 to 9.
at snack time, I used to just start rambling because I used to finish. It was very data entry types, my job. So
Right.
I type fast, so I used to finish early. So I used to start entertaining my colleagues, and once they jokingly told me, "Why do you do this here?" Basically, a lot of people in different parts of my life got fed up with me rambling and entertaining them, and they wanted to focus on what they were doing, and they're like, "Just go do this on stage."
But there are people who watch
Yeah, like I used to go and watch football with this particular group of friends also. They were huge Manchester United fans. They are still.
Right.
And I never used to enjoy watching it that much, so I used to comment on the "ये क्या गिर गया, ये देख इसको टपली मार के जाना चाहिए," all this. And they used to laugh but also be annoyed that, hey, if you this is funny, why don't you do it on stage? We'll come. And they did come for the first open mic. So it's just people in other places getting fed up and saying you should do this formally. So
But did they tell you that you're funny or they just said, "Tu ja, you do it
no,
somewhere
they
else?"
enjoyed it, but
Yeah.
they were like, the context is wrong.
You're so self-deprecatory, dude. It's so funny. Every time I watch you, you always have to you have something to shit on yourself. Do you like?
Yeah.
And I think that's important, right? But do you hate yourself?
No, I don't hate myself, but I don't see why you shouldn't do that. Because it's too big an opportunity, right? To be on stage. Who gave you the right to go on stage and like talk to people and
Yeah.
tell them your thoughts?
Because
I
you
mean-
thought like you're that. I think it's fucked up in all of us because you think that you're superior.
Yeah, you're not entitled to being understood on stage, right? Or your thoughts being expressed to a group of people. That's
Right.
not something anyone is entitled to. It's a privilege. So then, I'm not that smart or clever or articulate that I should get a mic every night.
Correct. Right.
Yeah,
So you're
so-
aware of that, and you want to address it right up front.
Yeah, you have to.
Right. But
So-
so how much of material is self-deprecated? Do you have a percentage of it?
No, in fact, I have acknowledgements that have just developed over time that are self-deprecating, and they really help if a joke bombs and you have to go to the
Yeah, like even the way you start your current video, which is up online.
Yeah, actually,
it
that
starts on
is
such a
the-
self-deprecatory note that is hilarious.
Yeah, that's the editor's idea. He's really clever. Karan Asnani, he was very clever because I did one joke up top and I got unnecessarily good response, and that's actually I was afraid that the rest of the side is not going to go that well. So I said, this
Yeah.
is just the beginning. Don't.
Oh, that's the
Yeah,
worst.
and then he's like, why don't you keep the first joke? And I said, I don't want to keep that because it's unrelated to the other ones.
Okay.
He said, then why don't you use this line during the title screen? And I said, that sounds good. And then when he did it, it looked nice. I
So
was
that's
like,
actually
"That's
the
very
ending
clever."
of another joke. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you were addressing another joke.
Yeah.
Oh,
I have a
that's-
lot of like my acknowledgements or addresses turn out to be self-deprecating. Like one I did recently was when there was this one person who laughed. And I was
Right.
like, I think I found my audience. I thought it was going to be a group of people, but it turns out it's just you.
Just
It's just one guy.
Yeah. But I think that kind of I don't know much about self-deprecatory humor, but I think I can easily spot out when it's forced. I think you can do
you
it
can
as a
tell.
comic.
You can tell.
Because I think if you're happy about yourself
Hmm.
and you actually love yourself, which
Yeah.
is wrong.
No, why
But
shouldn't you love yourself? But,
but
self-awareness is also important.
self-awareness is very important. But I think if you can easily see when a self-deprecatory joke is forced.
Yeah, you
Right.
can.
That's another thing. When did you watch Nanette?
Yeah, I did.
Especially when she points it out, right? When she makes this point and she says like, I don't want to be self-deprecatory anymore because I belong to the fringe group,
Correct.
right?
That makes
And
sense.
That does make sense. But I don't think like if you're in a fringe group or you're in a minority, like I don't think you should make fun of yourself to start with.
I mean, some people look at it as empowering, but also
No,
then
but if it
people are
hurts
laughing
you-
at your expense. So that's
if
a
it hurts
problem.
you, then I don't think you should start with it, right?
Yeah, if it hurts you, you shouldn't do anything. If
Yeah.
it's not cathartic, then what's the point?
It's not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also think see, generally you make jokes. I mean, the reason why we all do comedy is because we hate some part of life, which is a large part of life, right?
Yeah,
And if that includes you, I think you should make jokes about yourself.
yeah, that
Right.
makes sense.
How many years of work did you put in Royal Bank of Scotland?
I was there for a year. Then I did my MBA.
Acha.
Throughout all this, I was doing stand-up. Once I
Oh, so you started comedy and then did an
no,
MBA?
yeah.
Who-
Yeah, it's
Why would
convenient.
you-
Your family pays your fees and you get to do open mics as much as possible. And I
When you
got
look at
to-
it that way.
Yeah, and I didn't look at it that way. I just did it because I didn't know what else to do with my life, and this was just like the traditional path that you do your postgrad after you work for a year.
Right, yeah.
So that's what I did. But then I realized that then I started doing comedy in college also. You know, all these college events and this night, that night.
Oh, how was that?
It was really good. My
Because
class.
these people already know you and they see you every day.
Of course, there is a bias, but that support matters.
Was it scary?
Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, I was really new that time, so it was scary
So
because
you're too naive to...
there's no consistency in your performance when you're 2 years, 3 years into stand up. You don't have any tricks. Not like you have any at 7 years, but
no.
but it's worse.
Right, yeah, it's
Yeah.
worse. And plus you're too naive. You're too naive.
Yeah.
And I would always be afraid of... I think I remember I did one gig when I was in college. That was a fundraiser, I guess. But I would be afraid like these people already know me and I meet them every day.
Correct. No, but there's way too there was too few open mics at that point.
Huh.
So it was actually helpful to perform in college because
So how many open mics were there when you started?
at the very beginning there was just 2 a month.
Wow.
There was Comedy Store and there was iBar, which was Sudeep, the Culture Shock, who
Right.
they are the reason I'm still doing stand up because that's the only room where I have continued performing, and the room also has continued sustaining in different forms. It went to High for 2-3 years, then it is Cuckoo Club. If they didn't give me the chance to keep performing, I would have no skill set.
I think even the video which you shot right now is in Cuckoo.
Cuckoo Club. It makes sense for me to do that, right? It's just it makes sense.
In which way?
In which way? As in, I did most of my stand up there over the last 7 years, so why
Okay.
shouldn't I shoot there?
So is that like your comfort zone in comedy? The place where you're most comfortable with?
Yeah, I mean, now you become because you do every room multiple times, you become comfortable with. But I'm more fond of Cuckoo than any other room.
Right.
So-
So now you're in Bangalore. Is this your first time outside Bombay doing comedy?
Yeah,
Your first time?
I've been lazy. This is my fault. Yeah,
Your
I
first time
haven't-
in 7 years.
yeah. I'm not a hustler. I should have done this earlier. I got rid of the fear of. I went to Bali recently to visit a friend,
Right.
and I had a fear of flying. These are all just excuses, I know,
Yeah.
but the excuses do play a role. I was afraid of flying. But then there were like 7-hour flights back and forth, and I realized, you know what, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Your career has been affected like a lot by you not taking the initiative to visit
Right.
other cities. So I said, fuck it. And I booked tickets to Bangalore a week later.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is all because of your fear of flying that you didn't want to...
That's just an excuse.
But you actually
That's
fear
one of the...
flying.
Yeah, I did.
Like, what is the scariest thing about...
Every fear is essentially a fear of death, right? Like if you dig deeper.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
but-
you fear water because you are worried that one day you're going to drown.
Yeah, even
And
I
you're
have
not gonna-
some slight, mild OCD tendencies. Like I wash my hands way too many times before going to sleep. I check the lock 4 times. And I need to have my room needs to smell a certain way.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You gotta get like scented candles? And...
No, there are a lot of air fresheners in my car, in my room.
Right.
And washing my worst has been like I wash my hands like 9 to 10 times before going to sleep. But I did work down from it, and now I'm down to 2-3.
Yeah.
But why is that? If you follow the train of thought, it's because, you're a germaphobe. Why are you germaphobe? Because you think germs will do something to you. What will they do to you? They will kill you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not very...
When you think about it,
yeah.
when you go a little deeper into why you're afraid
Yeah,
of it,
yeah.
right? That's true. Even I don't know if I have... I'm not sure if I have OCD. I could have OCD. But it's so weird, dude. Like, if I wash my hands and then I touch my shoes. Then I had to wash my hands again.
But shoes make sense.
Or anything, like if I like remove like a pair of socks,
Yeah.
and then put it back into like the place where I keep all the dirty clothes. And then I feel, oh shit, there are germs.
Yeah, these are all disgusting things though. Like, these are genuinely horrible things.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I
Yeah.
have
A doorknob. Would you do it after touching a doorknob?
Would I do it after touching a doorknob? No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, see, that's a problem.
Yeah, but when
Yeah.
you think of it, when you say it that way, like every fear is almost a fear of
Yeah,
death.
but it's also, if you're a control freak, you're afraid of these things. Because you live under the illusion that you can control living and dying, and which is dumb. So that's how you get over it. When you firstly train yourself little by little, if you wash your hands, I've seen Jordan Peterson, like he's a internet
Right.
commentator, and a lot of people online talk about it. So I didn't need to go to therapy because the therapy is actually this, that you
Yeah.
do it a little less and then you do it 9 times and 8 times, 7 times, and you also realize you have no control over the outcome of life anyway. If you're going to die, you're going to die. So you're an idiot if you think you can control these things. So if you're a control freak, it doesn't matter to nature. It will take its course. So take a flight. Don't wash your hands.
Wow. So you actually was it okay when you flew this time to
It
Bali?
was okay. Yeah, what the fuck is
You
going
didn't-
to?
you didn't-
No, Bali was tough, but here Bangalore was easy.
But you were actually conscious of that flight in Bali when you were.
Yeah, but how long? You can't be like that for 7 hours, right? Oh my
Okay.
God, what's going to happen?
So
Oh my God.
So how long were you afraid when you were in the flight?
While takeoff, maybe 1 hour in the beginning, and while landing, I really still find it weird how
You
at
land?
that rate you land and it hits.
Yeah.
And what if the wheels don't open? And,
Oh yeah.
and you read about most
Yeah.
crashes that happen at the point of either landing or takeoff.
The runway, right?
Shortly after takeoff,
Shortly after.
the flight went missing. That's what they said.
Yeah, shortly after takeoff, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially, I remember watching one episode of, I think, Air Crash Investigation, and I think it was when the Concorde crashed, right? And it was on the runway. Like, it was because of what happened on the runway, which
Yeah.
is so scary.
Yeah. There's this one lady, I read about this. This has happened only once in the history of aircraft. There was some plane that the air traffic control screwed up, that she forgot to tell one plane to take off, and the other landed, and they both crashed into each
Oh
other.
my
There was
God.
one stationary plane and there was one. This I'm always afraid of. You shouldn't read certain things at all.
No, dude, there's too much of
Yeah.
information, and you read about it,
Yeah.
and then you start worrying about the basic shit.
And there was people in line, even while coming here to Bengaluru, there was people behind me in line, but when we were going to go to the flight, and they were like, "Arey, pata hai Captain Sully ne kya kiya?" and all. I'm like, "This is not the right time
That's-
to
yeah.
discuss this at all."
Yeah, that's even scarier. That movie is even scarier because you're in the air and birds, dude.
Yeah,
Freaking birds.
birds. Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how, but I think it's always scary whenever you go on a flight. Like, everyone has a fear, but I think some people have it,
Yeah.
which is in a heightened.
Another way I tried to get rid of it, it didn't work with this one, is that how
This
many?
time, as in when you went to Bali.
Yeah, no,
Bangalore,
coming
okay.
here. It's like how many flights in history have crashed from Mumbai to Bengaluru? So you reduce the odds, right? If one happens right before the day you come here, then the next day it cannot happen, right? What are the odds that 2 days in a row these flights will crash? And it turns out it has never happened. So
It has
that
never happened,
what
yeah.
I thought I may be the first one, right?
That-
It has to happen sometime, right?
It has to happen at some point.
But it's too short a flight, I think, for it to.
Yeah, even
Yeah.
if there's a glitch on air, they'll be like, let's land it somewhere in Pune or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
If that happens in 2019, then after that 5 years, I'm good coming to Bangalore, because then how will it happen again so soon? That's the logic.
I used to think that way with terrorism. You know, like every time you go on a plane or on a train or something, like, oh shit, this is going to bomb.
Yeah.
I mean, this place is someone's going to bomb the train or the plane, right? But no one's ever hijacked a train from like Bangalore to Bombay.
Yeah, that's not a goal. that
Why would they do that?
hijackers have. Correct.
But I feel it could possibly happen. I think Indians can definitely hijack a plane.
I don't know if I want to discuss this on a podcast because people will take it in the wrong way.
I
You hate the country and all.
I like how you think people listen to this also.
Oh yeah. No, but you're doing a great thing by creating a repository of like you're capturing a moment in time in the comedy scene and otherwise also, because you don't only have comics on.
I
right?
don't only have comics on.
I
I do
like-
podcasts with other people as well who are non-comics.
Yeah. Do you do that?
I don't like doing it anymore because I don't know what, because every other person, I don't know if I'm seeing their life as the same story or they all have the same story, but every other non-comic almost has the same story.
In what way?
Like, even if you're a musician, then there's just one story, dude. You were working in a job, you did music, or if you're acting, you were working in a job and you were acting, and then you just did it, and now you love yourself too much. Everyone thinks they're too inspirational, and I'm trying to
That's
genuinely move away from that. I started that way, this podcast, and I'm trying to move away from this being motivational. First of all, like, most of us lead the lives that we're supposed to lead.
Correct.
we are doing the best that we can. We're not trying to be shitty, right? So I don't know why. What is the importance of motivation?
Yeah, motivation is too short-lived. If you really want to do something, you just keep doing it over and over again until it clicks.
You will keep doing it. Okay, just put your microphone a little
Yeah.
closer, so because like how much can you get motivated?
True.
You already know what you want to do.
But I think even that slight push of motivation does help people.
Does it?
I mean,
Like
it
you-
depends in what context you're saying. I mean, if it's your life goal to do something, then you shouldn't need it because you'll have to keep doing it for way too long for you to need short bursts of motivation. But if it's something like working out, we are not none of us are professional athletes, but if we work out a few 5 times a week, it will help us.
Right.
So listening to people like Joe Rogan
Yeah.
or like people like that who have done that, who are not professional athletes but who have discipline in their life to do shit like that, then it helps. So it depends on the context.
Right. Yeah.
But if your life goal is to do something, then you shouldn't need motivation for it. It should be intrinsic mostly.
If you already have like a purpose, like where you're headed,
Correct.
then I don't think it makes much sense because you're already motivating yourself in a way by doing it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think there are people. I think who it's important for. There are people who whose life controls them. Like they wake up every day. I know there are people, and this is true regardless of where we are in the world. Okay, there are people whose parents still wake them up regardless of how old they are.
Yeah, that
And they
happens.
like push them and like, listen, you have to go for a job, and they go to that job late, and then they hate their job, and they come back home late, and they sleep late because they have to check Instagram and Facebook and Tinder and watch a little bit of porn or something, and then go back really late in the night, and then wake up, and then you like hate your life. And I think for then it's important because you make changes and then you reschedule, restructure. But I think for a lot of other people, you don't really need it, right?
Yeah, and that's why this is a position of privilege, what we do, right? Because at least we do what we like doing.
Yeah.
A comic recently told me that it changed it was such a burst of positivity, which is not extremely common in the open mic scene in Bombay. He put a video. I won't say his
Or in
name
the
because
scene
he's
Bangalore. Or I think any open
Yeah.
mic scene.
he's too good a comic for me to say his name because I like him so much that I wish he had 1 million views. But
Okay.
his video started off with like 5 to 10,000, and I met him 3-4 days after that, and I was like, how are you feeling about it? Because whoever watched it was positive response.
Right.
So he said, I'm glad because 10,000 people have never seen me perform.
Correct. If you
And
look at it
plus
that
I'm
way.
living my dream because I get to do what I like for a living. I said, this is the best possible attitude you can have towards anything.
Yeah.
And comics, I mean, this is fresh hearing it from a comic. Because it could very well have been, Arey, us chutiye ka 600,000 hai, mera
Yeah.
10,000 hai.
I think that's the worst when you
It
compare
also
yourself.
loses sight of the long term. Like
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a beginning. We are so early in our careers that these are just going to be. We just have 5 minutes online. Like 5 minutes of our favorite comics discard 5 minutes on like SNL or like some random late show performance.
Yeah.
Because they are so prolific and experienced and stuff. But 5 minutes in the longer scheme of things is not something that you should be that attached to.
Yeah.
Ki, oh, it got 100,000 instead of the possible million. Just wait. People will find you if you're good. If you're not good, you'll put something else that people will like when you improve.
Yeah. There's so much of bitterness in the open mic scene.
Yeah, there is.
There's an incredible amount of bitterness, and it starts with people who want success in a really short span of time.
Yeah.
Like in a year, they're already a year into it, and they see themselves not being at the level with which they expected themselves to be.
Correct.
And then they start hating on people who are already at the level that they want to be. It's like, how is that person there? And they don't do it directly. They don't like, no one ever admits the fact that they're jealous. No one ever comes and says like, I'm jealous, right? But people just do it very indirectly and be like, that person is so shitty.
It's very
How is
easy
that
to tell.
person so shitty? And you just keep. I think yesterday I was at an open mic, and there was some dude who was on stage telling the audience, "This is an open mic, so this is where dreams die every 5 minutes."
That's funny.
Like, hey, don't be such a big captain of positivity. But I think it's helped, right? Like all of us, like most people, like all of us, like most people are comics. We're hated, I think, for a large part of their life.
I don't know. I like doing stand up, but only part I hate is two parts I hate of it right now. This is again an asshole thing to say that you hate anything about stand up when you get to do it. But
Yeah.
one is when you do the same material over and over again for really long, it becomes a rut. And
Yeah.
it becomes like a job.
Because
But
you know you're gonna land it.
that is that is part of making material good. Like you have to do it for at least a year-ish or maybe 2 sometimes. So, and then at the end of that, the life cycle of that material, you're irritated, and then it becomes a diminishing returns thing where it starts getting worse, like Louis
Yeah.
C.K. said in that Talking Funny, which is true.
Yeah.
So that part I hate of doing material at the end of its life cycle,
Right.
and also the fact that
But do you do material for the sake of doing material?
What is that? What do
So
you
like if you have like a 20-minute spot, and I was just talking about this in the previous podcast, okay, with Anand. And if you have a 20-minute spot and you have 15 minutes of material which you like, and then you have 5 minutes which you absolutely hate, but you're supposed to do it because you have to do 20 minutes.
That's everyone, right? Who likes their entire set at 6 years, 7 years, 5 years into comedy? It's not possible.
It's not possible to like your entire
Yeah.
bit. That is true.
I mean, it's not possible much later also, I think, because if you're not self-critical, you won't improve. But I
But there
think
are
you
few
can get to a
bits-
good place in 15 years, right? Or maybe...
In 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get to a place where you're like, oh, I like this current hour. Maybe when you're 12 years, 13, 14 years into stand-up. It's possible to feel like that if you worked hard enough.
You can't like your entire set for now, for sure. 6
No
years.
chance.
But there are bits that you like more than the other bits. Or
100%.
let me put it the other way. There are bits that you hate less.
Yeah.
This is not that bad when I do it. But there
Yeah.
are some things which you like don't want to do, but you have to do.
That's
Which I think
true.
is true with every job. There are some parts that you just have to do.
Yeah,
Right?
it's okay as long as every performance, I mean, it helps to be on stage, so it's okay.
So that's your first thing. What is the other thing which you hate? Like the first thing you hate is doing
Now
the
this
same
is just
material.
very specific to me,
Yeah.
that the size of rooms that I'm doing is not sustainable. Meaning, I'm doing most rooms that I'm doing are capacity 20 people, but 4 to 7 to 8 turn up, and I'm tired of that because I'm the guy who's been doing it one of the longest in the scene, like
Right.
rooms of that size. Because everyone who started with me, they took off, so they do much bigger rooms.
So when you do a smaller room and it doesn't fill, then you feel like a little pissed, right?
It's annoying because annoying is the wrong word, but it's getting to me a little bit because a lot of those shows get cancelled, and then that's all you were going to do that day is that show.
Yeah.
And then once cancellations are out of the way, you can focus on improving on stand-up, because people say stuff like, oh, your early issues will build character. How much character are you going to build beyond a point? You have to build skill, right, beyond a point. And to build skill, you have to have a guaranteed audience. So not having, that's the right way to put it. Not
Do you
having
feel-
a guaranteed audience irritates me.
Okay, so how much a percentage do you think is skill and character?
I think a lot of it is character, because I have seen people
Is
who...
that the majority?
No. I still
Really? You
feel
don't feel
skill.
that's the
Most of it
majority?
is skill.
Most of it is skill.
But I think character is important because there are comics out there who things happen quickly for them and they practice, they work hard, but things happen so quickly they didn't get to struggle.
Right.
So the material sounds like complaining about things that are privileges, like oh, my car was things like that. I heard this comic. I'm really...
It's like how for
This
a long
is-
time I realized this because I think Karan pointed this out, right? He said like most of us bitch about being middle class, but we're not even middle class.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, it's a very classist profession that we have, by the way.
It's elite, dude. It's
And
so elite.
also restricted by money, because plus ones, comics pay for their own plus ones, so it becomes more restricted by money.
serious?
It's very
I
unfortunate.
don't know how this plus one scene works because that's only exclusive to Bombay.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate, but it's a necessary evil. I've thought about it a lot. Basically, if the plus ones don't come, very often the show doesn't happen. So to make the show happen, you have to get a plus one. But comics pay for their plus ones because why would anybody watch an open mic on a Tuesday, right?
That is correct.
So when comics pay, then it becomes divided by class rather than talent, right? If you can afford to pay, then you get a spot,
Then
and
you're a
that's
comic.
not right. But what are we going to do? There's
Which
no
means
other
that you need
option.
to keep a job to do comedy.
Yeah,
How long have you been doing this without a job?
like a couple of years,
Which is like 4 or 5 or 3?
2 years, I think.
2 years?
Almost 2 years.
So do you have this problem? Like one of the reasons why I started this podcast is because when I quit my corporate job in May, right? I knew that the thing I hated the most when I had my corporate job is there was a lot of free time in my job. Okay, so now when I quit my job, I realized that's not a way to solve the problem because there's going to be an even bigger amount of free time.
Yeah.
Right. So do you have the problem? Do you see like there's too much of free time, or have you come to terms with it? Like now there's free time and it means I can do whatever I want.
No, I enjoy it actually, but
You enjoy it, yeah.
because when you have hobbies, you can fill time doing those things, and they help stand up. Like
Right.
working out for me has changed everything about my stand up. Like my current video, I shouldn't be saying it, but is quite tight by any.
It is.
Is
It's
tight
very
by the standards of our scene.
It
This-
is very tight, and the fact that you were that tight without knowing that the taping was happening speaks a lot for
No,
itself.
but the material has been done for a long time, so
But that
that
still is a lot, man. Like that still is a lot. When you're that tight and you can still get it on video and you'll be happy with it.
that's just luck. That it was on video
Do
is
you
luck.
feel?
Yeah.
I
You
think it's a
can't
lot of
perform like that
practice
again
also.
and again.
No, I think it's a lot to do with how tight you are normally.
Yeah,
because
that-
you are very tight. I'll tell you, when I saw you, I came to Bombay. Ever since 2015, I've been coming to Bombay every once a year. Okay, and I think I saw you once at Hive, and I don't think Hive is there anymore. Is Hive still
Yeah,
there?
no. They've opened Cuckoo Club now. So
They've
Hive,
opened-
that old location has shut down.
Yeah, I think you were there, and I was staying with Kashyap at that time, And I told you, dude, this guy, I think you had, I don't know if it was you or someone who had a bit about Damsharaj. I think it was you or Vinay Sharma.
Vinay Sharma has
I
that.
guess it was you. And I told, dude, those are the two people who stood out that day. And these are two people who are going to make it. Because you were extremely tight and you had laughs that were like every minute. So I kind of knew that you were, I mean, you're always tight. It's not because, but you think like working out had to do with it?
Oh, 100%. Because I put a video earlier this year
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't do well. And this one is doing well, not only because it's got 200k. If you put in context, a lot of things people told me that, oh, you should, if you don't shoot at canvas, people won't watch it. If it's not, if it's not multiple cameras, people won't watch it. These are all technical things.
Right.
And it came from a good place that the comics told me. They were not trying to stop me from putting out work. But this has been true over a period of time that, oh, these are the things that make YouTube push your video, algorithmically speaking. But all of those things were not there in my video, but still based on people liking the jokes. Not a single comment out of almost 200 comments. None of them are saying, oh, I wish I could see you from the left side. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. If they're into what you're saying, they forgive a lot of these.
Really bad, but I really like the camera.
Yeah, exactly.
Great camera.
Like joke angles over camera angles for people. For people.
I think that's the worst comment you can get on a YouTube video. Great camera work.
Yeah. Yeah, actually.
So well directed.
That's so sad if that happens.
That is very true. It's very true.
Great lighting. Keep it up. It's like,
Well,
that's not my
that
job.
amused me about people. You know, there are a lot of people. There are a lot of viral videos that are there of comics we don't really know of, right? And most of the comments are just lean towards being negative, right? You just see a lot of negative videos. There are a lot of newcomers who put up a lot of videos, right? And there is just so much of negative videos. I don't have any idea how people deal with so much. It has to at some point take some effect on you, right?
You're saying negative comments on stand-up videos?
Yeah.
I think the audience is very forgiving. The audience doesn't have extremely high standards for
We're talking about the
stand-up.
audience, we're talking about viewers.
Viewers on YouTube.
They're
The audience live is really, they're like, you
They're
better
the
be
best.
good.
They're
Yeah.
Huh.
They're very fair.
Yeah.
And in fact, they should be that way. In fact, if they're not warmed up properly, whatever, that's how stand-up is. You have
Yes.
to genuinely be good at stand-up to get any response live. But for the most part. But online people are way more forgiving than live. And they're like, their standards are not
You
as
really
high.
feel? Why
Yeah,
do you
I
feel that
put my
way?
first video wasn't that good. People said really good things. It wasn't that tight. There was dips and stuff. And I've seen other videos where, I mean, there's gone 1 minute 20 seconds without a laugh, and that 1 minute 20 seconds was not tension. It was just maybe a bit didn't work in the middle, but it still went online. And people were like, oh, but people are so nice online that they will wait for the actual joke to come and then write that in the comments. Oh, I really like that part. People are patient because people treat stand-up online as content, not just stand-up. Live stand-up is stand-up. Online stand-up is content.
Yeah,
So
it doesn't have to be funny
because
offline.
other YouTube comedy videos like PewDiePie, these things, they can go 40-50 seconds without a laugh because they're not there just to make you laugh.
they're
They're
not
there to
stand-up.
entertain you.
Yeah.
So if there's a laugh, it's a bonus.
Right.
So they're giving the same leeway to stand-up online where like, the first laugh came at 1 minute 10 seconds, and they're still happy. Although they won't buy tickets at that point, I'm guessing, but the like-dislike ratio is like very generous. People are very generous online.
Okay.
So I don't know, the negative comments are very few. And if you can't put up with that, then you should do something else.
So let me ask you this question then. So now you're putting it up on YouTube, right? Now YouTube is open to everyone. Okay. And are you afraid of putting out content which is politically incorrect, but which is still comedy? But which most people are not which people can pull back from? Because I like the way I see it right now, like the videos that are doing well are the ones that are safe.
But Kamra is up there.
Kamra's up there, yeah. Kamra's definitely. I think he's the exception to this entire rule.
But
Right.
Kamra's stand-up is also tight. That's what helps.
It is, but Kamra's the only exception to the rule where he's putting out stuff where he can get hated, right?
I don't know how he puts up with it. I wouldn't be able to live like that.
Even I'm not sure. It's Kamra, and who's the other person who I'm very surprised about? Like, people keep shitting on Trump. But dude, imagine like if you were Trump, okay, and you put up a photo and every single comment is like, you suck, you're ugly, you're doing a bad job, you're horrible. And if you can still be strong after that, right? Dude, that has to say something about you.
Yeah, it does.
You
say
may
something.
have shit policies and you may have like the worst regime ever, but that has to say something that you're strong.
Yep, that's true.
Right? I don't know how, but has it ever stopped you? Like, the fear of backlash?
It depends on, like, if you're saying politically incorrect in terms of politics.
No, I'm just talking about,
No, that doesn't matter.
of like fucking around in a joke just for the sake of fucking around.
No, I've taken too much of it in the open mic scene anyway. I've said things that now the last 2-3 years I can I'm better at delivering irony, so it's very obvious when I deliver it. But in the first couple of years, I wasn't so good at it, but I wanted to do it. So sometimes it came out wrong, which is a leeway we should all give each other, that things will come out wrong when you try to pull off things you're not good at, like irony, especially.
Right.
Because the tone is very important and emphasis and how you say it. So the first 2-3 years I tried things at open mics, so people came up to me and said, "Oh, you're a bad person for thinking this." I said, yeah. So this was not my intent, but I'm just not skillful as a comic to pull off that thought yet.
Yes.
So the last 2-3 years I haven't received any hate because my intent is so clear and the crowd gets it, that you would sound weird if you told me that I'm whatever
Right, yeah.
you want to put. But in the early days people did that, and I don't think that's fair. I think we have to give each other
And these are comics, yeah.
Yeah, we have to give each other a little bit leeway to learn. It's okay to have conversations. Ki, hey, what were you trying to do there? Do you literally mean this?
That's a better way of putting it, right? Like, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, rather than just judging a person and then trying to say that this is what this person is. Because most things, that's the point of starting something. You're not going to be good at it.
Yeah.
But at least ask a person what they are trying to do.
Yeah, and I think we're still in that pathway right now, right? Where we're taking like difficult stands and trying to defend them, right? We're in that pathway. We're all learning how to do it, especially right now, because stand-up has changed so much. Before, like from setup punchline to like just riffing on stage, right?
Yeah.
And to taking like difficult positions on things and then trying to defend them. We're trying to do it. So I think it's wrong as a comic to like say like you're a bad person.
Yeah, we should be the opposite. We should be defending each other's right to say whatever we want to say.
We should be the last ones who are like get offended at speech.
Yeah. And it's actually very obvious when someone is saying shit unironically. Like, it's very clear. Whether they pull it, I mean...
It is.
Yeah, and that I have
when
never
they're
done.
fucking around for the sake of fucking around.
Yeah. No, they're saying horrible shit which they mean. That distinction is very clear.
I don't think then you become... I don't think that's a comic, right?
I mean, whoever gets laughs on stage... I mean, it's a very tricky discussion, even if it's full of...
No, because I don't understand this. I'll tell you why, okay? I'm just the problem. This is why I do not like non-comics who are funny. Because I don't say non-comics are funny. For me, in my stupid, narrow-minded head, it should be like they should just be silly. Or they should just be like happy funny. But I do not like non-comics who roast other people. Because then I don't think you're a funny person. So what gives you the right to roast someone?
Oh, so a person has to be a comic to be funny for you?
In a weird way, no?
No, I mean, there are so many funny people who could have been... I mean, this is actually... stand-up comedy is the death of comedy, if you think about it.
It's true.
Because it adds too much structure to something that is a natural human trait.
It's true, but then there are... Clearly, people are not funny. But in their head, they'll be like, oh, sorry, I was just joking. And that comes across as really mean and stupid.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's the problem. I think comics, for one, should be able to understand each other's...
Correct. Intent. It's too clear.
Yeah.
Even if you don't pull it off, it's quite clear, to be honest. You can tell what a person is trying.
No, the reason why I like comics, and you're talking about you feel like non-comics should not be funny, is I think like comics have great intent. And I don't think that same intent goes for non-comics.
I don't know whether intent is that... I mean, for all comics, if it's an important thing. Because there are some comics who are just... Which is fine. Just observational comics or really silly stuff or one-liners and stuff where... Or one-liners, no. One-liners is too broad a category. But... Say observational comedy, for example. Like if they're just, oh, have you guys noticed kind of stand-up? Okay, so that stand-up doesn't need an opinion attached to it.
There's no opinion.
Yeah, so it's not necessary that...
You're an artist in that.
Your intent doesn't... My intent is just to make people laugh.
Mm-hmm.
So, and frankly, that's what it comes down to. If you're just trying to make people laugh, and then you can get away with a lot of things if people are giving enough.
Yeah.
Which audiences always are great. It's just comics. It's very unfortunate, actually. I mean, audiences, in terms of political comedy, they get... and religious comedy are barriers in India, but otherwise our audiences are amazing.
Yeah, most audiences really love comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
They're very supportive of it. Even if there's something they don't agree with, they let it pass. Or they let them be won over by the comic. That's very true.
Yeah, and it's harder to be mean in person, right? Like online people can say whatever they want, but no one will say...
Yeah. I think that's always the way I think we should understand like online hatred. Like, will this person want to say this to me as a person on a call?
It's not easy though. Because I don't do political comedy because I'm not good at it. People who are good at it are obviously better at it, and even if I had the inclination to do it, I would have not done it because of the risk it carries. But luckily I don't. Yeah. But luckily I don't have no.
I don't think you can choose that, right? It just comes to you.
Yeah. I mean, if you really want to, if a fire is burning within you, and I have strong political opinions, I just want to do different things on stage because the guys who are doing political comedy are way more well researched than I am and better at it. Like Anirba and Kamra, these are like great comics. So that's one of the things they've chosen to do, and they're doing it amazingly. But but the kind of stuff they put up with, you're saying you can put up with it. It's actually not easy to put up with mentally because
I don't
they
think
get death threats.
You can't deal with it. I'm not.
I mean, how can you not be looking over your shoulder if somebody threatens to kill you? You can't be like, oh, they won't threaten to kill me in person. You won't find out. You'll be dead.
No. Yeah, but I think it's true. I think definitely people who do political comedy, it has to have some effect on them. The backlash, right? It does have an effect.
It must get to you.
It definitely has. It can't. We're all human. I think you'll be a psychopath for it not to get to you. Right? Yeah. But it's very interesting how you said, like, I like this thing where you said, like, working out has made your thing a lot better. Like your stand-up. In what? Like, how has it made it?
So, like, the video that I put earlier in Jan, I took a lot of constructive feedback from YouTube. It helped. They said, oh, you don't end on a high. And see, these are YouTube specific things that they want, but these are also stand-up specific things. These things people suggested on YouTube in the comments actually work for stand-up also in most cases. That, oh, you didn't end on a high, or these bits were whatever, unrelated. So it's true. All these things are true about my first video. And I ran out of steam after basically my first 3 minutes was stronger than the next 3, things like that. And then I realized once you work out with dedication, because I've been working out for 2-3 years now, more than that. So, but I started doing it more like religiously this year because you build discipline, because you tell yourself, okay, I work out at least 5 times a week. So you start respecting yourself. I am a disciplined person. This becomes your opinion about yourself. Then if you're disciplined at this, then you will also be disciplined at stand-up. You will not miss open mics no matter how far it is, whatever. Which Masoom is amazing at, by the way. He's the best at it. Yeah. In terms of hustling, there's nobody better.
I've heard.
So that is one thing. And also completing things. Like if you decide I'm going to do X reps and X sets of something, and you make it till the end, like, oh, I did 15 reps of 3 sets of whatever, and I completed the workout no matter how hard it was, even if I had to reduce weights, then your opinion of yourself becomes, I am a person who completes things. Then you also become a person who completes jokes.
Wow.
It helped me a lot. And
so
not in a way
your mindset about yourself.
100%. And it's not in a very esoteric way. It's actually directly affected my stand-up. Like I can see it. Like if I don't work out for 2 weeks, my stand-up suffers, and because I don't respect myself. So you're a lazy person, you don't exercise, so you're not worth.
Yeah, you feel like a bag of shit when you go on stage.
Correct.
I think this is something I read or heard, I'm not sure where. But if you, the good thing about working out is it gives you a lot of energy. It gives you a lot of energy, right?
Yeah.
And you choose activities that are also high energy. But if you don't have energy, like if you eat badly and you don't sleep much and you don't work out or whatever, right? Then you feel so tired that you choose activities that are low energy.
True.
Which makes you a worse person.
That's not a life though. A life like lived in seclusion and like just lying around is not really a life, I feel. So it's better to be out there. And there is no other activity that working out will not help. What is fun about life? Traveling, doing stand-up. If you get lucky as a comic and you have a career doing stand-up and you get to travel a lot, then you have to have stamina.
Correct.
Whatever the good shit is, you need to be physically like fit for that. Otherwise, you miss out on life. So it's important.
It's very cool, dude. So you're here from. Are you doing any other city this year?
I mean, I should do Delhi. I want to do one more video online.
Right.
Because this is gaining views at a consistent slow speed. Luckily, the response is very positive. But at this number, you won't get a lot of ticket sales. I think once it touches 1 million, which I hope it does, it might take a few months. And by the time then the buzz dies down. So to keep that alive, you have to put one video in the next 2 months. That's why I'm here. Actually, a big part is that the pressure to work on material in another city is greater because you value the stage time much more.
Right.
So by Feb,
are you trying new stuff when you're here?
Yeah, a lot of it is new.
You're trying new stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So by Feb, I'll put maybe one more, and I hope that both of them combined can gain an audience. Right. And then I'll do other cities.
But are you getting people to come to your shows who've seen a video?
It's too soon, but it's not going to happen at this number.
It's not going to happen, right?
Not 200,000 spread out across India, and then how many people go and watch comedy live, and then the marketing of shows, and it's this is not that number. But I really hope that it even gets to a point where open mics are not cancelled. I'm happy. Right. Like open mics that I host.
Yeah, that's a happy day.
Yeah, open mics that I host have 6 people consistently. If that happens, that's a good start.
That is great.
The bigger challenge is to, now that I know what kind of thing to put on YouTube and what kind of thing people respond positively to, that is a big part of the thing that, okay, now I have to create more of this.
Yes.
So that makes your goal easier.
Yeah.
So
And I
I'm
think-
relieved.
And I also think, like for me, especially personally, like a lot of pressure went away and I became happier. I was like, okay, I'm not going to make it fast. Like so much of pressure went away. Like before, it'd be like, I think 4 years in, you should make it. But then when that didn't happen, like it pissed me off for a long time. And then afterwards, it just took the pressure off. It said like, you know what, you just had to go to an open mic and try out some new shit.
Didn't you put a video online also?
I put a video out in June or July, which has like 10,000 views.
How do these things work? I don't even understand them.
I don't know. But it's okay. As soon as it showed me that, right, it's just like, okay, I'm not at the place where I'm supposed to be. So now we can take more chances.
But views are not a good metric. There are the views is clickbait titles with million views and horrible amount of dislikes.
No, but now when I think about it, I think that video was shit also.
Oh, you don't like it?
Now I don't like it. But it's there. Like I still get a subscriber. I think I get a subscriber every day.
Just one.
One subscriber every day. And yeah, it's something, dude.
Yeah.
Like the comments have not been negative at all. Like I think the most negative comment is one guy who said, and it's not even negative. It's very positive. He said like, great content, delivery was poor, but you still want a subscriber, and that was the worst comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It's a favor.
it's yeah, so it's not bad, but great, dude. Is there anything that you want to plug in the podcast before we come to the end of it?
No, man, I get to the plugging point soon, hopefully. Maybe in a few months. Maybe in 6 months. Yeah,
In
but
6
it's
months.
just nice to be on one because
Thank
you're
you.
capturing a very important moment in time. This is a repository of things. You'll go back 5-10 years later or even shorter time later, 3 years later, where you're at a different stage in your career and listen to what you are right now, and so will I. And comics, like if you have so many comics on and some of them become successful, people who listen
Yeah.
will go back and be like, oh, in 2018, this is
was
how
they were.
they
and
were.
This is what they were thinking.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
all of us, if we become successful, become worse as people. So this is a good time to just capture the good part.
Or worst case, like even for you, like even if you stop working out after 1 year, you can go back and be like, I was working out 5 times a week. Great. And I like what you said, dude. Like I think we should consider where we see ourselves 15 years from now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think by 40 I'll be something. Thanks, Bhavish, for being on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Alright guys, that was Bhavish Ailani on episode 33 of the Right Room podcast. Thank you so much for listening to this. If you want to follow Bhavish, you can follow him on Instagram where he goes by the title of Bhavish. That's BHAVISH_Ailani. If you want to watch this video, go check it out on his YouTube channel, which is Bhavish Comedy. I'll be back next Wednesday with a brand new episode of the Right Room podcast. Until then, take care and cheers.